Hello, and welcome to this Diablo 4 tutorial where I'm gonna show you guys and girls my first build that I tried with the Necro. It's a Shadow Necro that I'm doing, and I've changed a bit the way other players are using it. So I saw that recently there was discovered like this new build that everyone is using now, the Infinimist. And mine is a bit different. They are similar, but my focus is on Seaver. So let's have a look at it. First of all, we would be using Reap, but only to unlock the rest of the skill tree. We don't really use it. I have two versions of this build, and I'm actually trying a second one which is way more offensive. And I had to remove Reap because I actually get enough essence by exploding corpses, so I don't need this. And the damage reduction, maybe I will miss it at higher levels, but right now I'm 81 and I'm doing like 92 nightmare dungeons, so I guess I'm pretty good right now. And I wanted to share it with you guys and girls. So we would be using Reap just as a secondary option instead of Decapify. Then as the main skill we would be using Seaver, and we're gonna make the enemies vulnerable. I also use Lucky Hit by a lot because believe it or not, 12 is a lot of chance to create corpses, especially with the multiplier of the exploding corpses, which is 48%, I guess. So yeah. Next, we were using the mist only for defensive purposes and to engage and group up the enemies before exploding them. We're gonna watch that later. And we also want to create more corpses with it. Then obviously corpse explosion with the darkness modifier. We're gonna also take those two passives. This one is gonna give us a lot of essence, and this one will increase the damage. And mind that X on the side of the 12%, that's way better than a regular increased damage. Then I was testing the build the other day, and I said, that's what I said, hey, I have enough essence, let's try to raise the damage even more. So I was trying to Decapify, but then I found out that actually Iron Maiden was even better, because I don't actually need all of this CC. I actually stun the enemies and group them, so all I want is more damage, more essence, and even more damage. And we also get the passive to close enemies, basically damage reduction and more damage you deal. Then we have corpse tendrils. I'm still getting used to the names. I just switched from Spanish to English just to do the video. So corpse tendrils is actually the core of the build. So this is gonna raise our damage by a lot, and it's also gonna give us the CC we need to. So we basically are taking like 2 or 3 big pools, putting them and grouping them together with the mist, and then throwing some corpse tendrils to then explode the few corpses that we have. Throw some Reap, and then keep exploding Reap, and that's a combo. I originally had this modification here, but I found out that I have enough blood orb generation. It's not that necessary, so I switch out for more vulnerability on the enemies. Then we're gonna fill this up. Those are basically giving us more shadow damage, pretty important, especially terror and gloom. Then for the ultimate, I take Bone Storm. That's because of the critical bonus, also the damage reduction, and overall I think it's one of the best ultimates in the game. We will take this passive because we're sacrificing our pets. We don't use the Skellies. And 60% is pretty high. And then for the claw passive, Shadow Blight. Believe it or not, it's one of the main buckets of damage. So let's have a look at the items. I have 6k. This goes up to 35k. I think it'd be better with the last modifications of the latest patch. So yeah. First of all, I have obviously some barrier for defense. I first had the one that gives you barrier each time you deal damage with the ultimate, but I think a lot of barrier instantly is way better than progressively building it up, especially for our fighting style, let's call it that way. Then I have some armor. I'm trying to get the ancestral roll with the 75%. That would be amazing. Then house from below. Chance to spawn a blood orb. This can be changed. I actually have some modifiers that amplify the damage you do every time you take a blood orb, and also I found out that when you explode a big group of enemies, sometimes you get surrounded by the distance enemies and they will crush you. So by spamming corpse explosion, you generate a lot of orbs. The ghost from house from below will start chasing the enemies, so you just have to stand there. Spam is so satisfying. That's why I left that here, but you could switch it maybe for some damage reduction with basic skills. Then Grips of Empty Tomb. I think this is amazing, especially with the shadow damage proccing lucky hits. Then Black River. Yep, this is pretty interesting. Multiplies the damage by a lot and buys you some time to deal more damage to bosses. We're gonna watch it later. Then my main aspect would be this one. So as you can see, it's a pretty high damage bonus, and it has an X, so it applies to overall. Then I had the skill that reduced the cooldown reduction from Blood Mist, but I found out that actually I was needing more corpses to generate more essence, so I switched out for this aspect that actually gives me more damage. And now I have more corpses on the ground to give to have essence when I need it, but I am also dealing more damage per second with the shadow bonuses. Oh, I missed it. And then we would have this ring right here, course tendrils, one of the main skills also. And the last one, I'm actually testing this one. I don't know how much will this increase the total damage overall, but it's turning out pretty cool. For now, that would be it. I don't have it planned for level 100. I guess I will be updating it meanwhile. But I wanted to show it with you guys because this is incredibly and stupidly high damage for the level I am. I'm level 81. I can do level 92 Nightmare Dungeons. When I am doing content of my level or 1 or 2 levels higher, I can, like, no joke, I can group 4 or 5 groups of enemies and instantly pop them up. So I'm gonna leave a video of me, some footage of a Nightmare Dungeon, It was prior to this patch, so I want to test the numbers and see, because they increased the damage a bit, let's say it. We don't know how much that will apply to the final numbers, but hey, that's it. I call this build the SoulBreaker just because you're chasing enemies, crushing them, then waking up their souls to chase their fellows and keep killing. It's just so funny to play, and it's been taking me from level 1 to 81, so wanted to share it with you guys. Like, subscribe, as you already know. If you want to support this or ask for more content, maybe some guides, leave it on the description. See you later.
necesito tiempo para eso.